I can see in the box there's a lot of you who have Jinshin Jitsu as your way of life. And boy, I congratulate you, because what could be more fun? But I'm really touched and thrilled that there are some folks who just dropped in to see what this is all about. And I think many of us have seen, especially during this year, that's, it's easy to say it's been a tough year. To have this place to go to, this reliable place to go to for peace is pretty extraordinary. One of the major principles that I've learned over my 30 years with the art is who you be is more important than what you do. So we're going to take a few moments and be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and then go into sharing with the animals. For those of you who are new, Jinshin Jitsu is an ancient Japanese tradition, a harmonizing art. There are those who will tell you, will use the term a healing art. And it absolutely does heal. When I got into this work, I was terminally ill, and that's 30 some years ago, and here I am. So I will attest to the fact that yes, it heals. But Mary Burmeister, who brought it to this country, tells us that healing is a byproduct of harmonizing. More importantly, and most simply, Mary tells us that if you can breathe, you can harmonize. And if you can harmonize, you can heal. And the idea behind that breath is not only the way we look at it in the West, take a big breath in, but more importantly, exhale. Mary also tells us you are never in disharmony because of what you lack, but what you haven't let go of. I'm going to repeat that one because it's a good one. Here's the essence of the art. You are never in disharmony because of what you lack, but what you haven't let go of. And you can let go of absolutely anything, body, mind, spirit, through the breath. And at least as this art is practiced, through application of the hands on the body. So as no, I don't remember who, as someone pointed out, that was saying that they were in the class with me and with Brigitte, it is a lifetime study. We ain't gonna cover it in the 50 minutes left this morning, but maybe, who knows, maybe we'll give you an exercise. I do it almost every day, and it does lead to cumulative healing. So what else do you need to know to jump in? Translation, Jin, people or person of knowing, person of compassion. Shin translates as the creator. Jinshin Jitsu is not a religion. It doesn't ask that you believe a certain religion, or that you even have a religion, or that you change the religion you practice. It talks about a universal life energy. So if the word creator is a stumbling block for you, you can make it really long and call it universal breath. Jutsu, the art of. Put it all together, you have the art of the universal breath through compassionate person of knowing. Now, when you say it that way, it makes Jinshin Jitsu look like it's not so cumbersome, huh? Either way, one more thing, because people stumble and feel uncomfortable with the word. So, not that it's related to this, but it sounds like this. Gin, glug, glug, glug. What you drink? Gin. Shin, like your leg. Jutsu. Jute, like rope. Jute, jutsu. Put it all together, you have jin, shin, jutsu. Lots of people call it jin shin. That's fine as slang. It doesn't quite mean anything. You do need to include that, the art of, to have it make sense. So I encourage you to just get in the habit of saying jin shin jutsu. It rolls off the tongue after a little while. The other thing, the cycle of breath. Because of this importance of the exhale, we're not starting or stopping our breath, really. It starts at the beginning of our life. It ends with our last breath. But we need a way to think about it. So in Jin Shin Jutsu, we think about exhale down the front, letting go. Space at the bottom of the feet, between the exhale and the inhale, that place of being. Inhale up the back, receiving. Down the front, letting go. Up the back, receiving. A never-ending cycle. And I wanted to play with a new way to look at the breath today. So I thought, the work in Jin Shin Jutsu is comprised of holding, without pressure, 26 what we call safety energy locks. They are energetic building blocks of the body, 26 on the left, 26 on the right. That's what it looks like in humans. I can never get that right. That's what it looks like in puppy dogs. Same location, same meanings. I consider it a little bit like real estate. The safety energy locks live where they live because of the jobs they do. So location, location, location. Yeah. The first 4 safety energy locks of the body. The safety energy lock is a sphere of energy the size of your palm, or paw, hoof, fin, depends on the size of the animal you're working with. The first 4 safety energy locks have a relationship to each other. They are about how we meet the world. They live in what we call the first depth, an aspect of being. Mary tells us 36 conscious breaths a day bring us into harmony. 36 conveniently divides up into 4 groups of 9. And I thought it was a great way to begin, to meet the safety energy locks that send us on our pathway. So, tell you what, have this puppy dog. He's pitch black. I don't know if you can see him, but he has decided that he wants to sit behind me on the chair. So I'm not going to say sit all the way back, but get yourselves comfy. Roll those shoulders up and down. Neck right and left. Forward and back till you find that place of no weight. Safety energy lock 1 lives inside the knee, right here. It is the prime mover. It takes us forward in life and it brings unity. Because these are not arbitrary. Like I said, they live where they live because of the job they do. If you want to go forward in life, you want to step out, you need to be able to bend your knee. Yeah. So I like to crisscross hands. You can also do it this way. We're going to start with 9 breaths down the front, letting go, up the back, receiving, holding safety energy lock 1. the prime mover. And enjoy that exhale down the front. Inhale, receive up the back. Over the head and exhale. Mary tells us that when our exhale is longer than our inhale, it makes us a more compassionate person. Because we're letting go of more than we receive. And now we're going to go into safety energy lock 2. So safety energy lock 1 was on the front of the body, helping the exhale. We go around the feet. We start up the back to the top of the pelvic girdle. Safety energy lock 2, a receiving flow. And I love to use it with the work of the animals because Mary tells us it brings about the wisdom of all creatures. And I'd love to encourage you as we hold safety energy lock 2 for a series of 9 breaths. I'd like to encourage you to do those breaths as little prayers of gratitude. Exhale and be grateful. It changes the practice. Down the front, gratitude. Up the back, receiving. And moving up to safety energy lock 3. So 3 lives, you come over the shoulder and a little ways down. If you move your arm, it's where you first feel that movement at the top of the shoulder blade. Safety energy lock 3. You can come over this way, or you can crisscross hands, whichever, or you can do one if that feels better. I kind of like them crisscross. Oh yeah. Safety Energy Lock 3 is a good friend right now. It keeps our immune system functioning in tip-top shape. It brings in understanding. It is called the swinging door. The swinging door, what we allow in and what we keep out. So in that way, it helps the immune system. And it's also the swinging door in terms of it brings warmth to all relationships. Relationships of your mind to your spirit, relationships of you to your next door neighbor, etc. Warmth to relationships. Cycle of 9 breaths. Again, of gratitude, if you like. It really changes our awareness. And finally, the last safety energy lock of the first depth. Come on up and nod your head forward and back. That is safety energy lock 4. I kind of like to interlink my fingers. It just feels good to support my head. Safety energy lock 4, the window, allowing in light and air, representing knowledge and consciousness. Safety Energy Lock 4 completes the first cycle of Safety Energy Locks, building the first depth. So we're working on skin surface, the immune system. We're lessening attitudes of worry, anxiety, skittishness. We're helping our digestion. All good things to be grateful for. And a cycle of 9 breaths. Remember to melt those shoulders even as you hold your arms up. And when you're ready, let your hands relax and come on down to your lap. Take a minute to see where you landed, how you're feeling, body, mind, and spirit. You know, we say over and over again that Jinshin Jitsu is a very cumulative practice. It doesn't have to be exotic. 36 breaths, sometime during the day, maybe broken up into groups of 9, or done like that. You can just hold fingers. You can hold one safety energy lock, but bringing your consciousness to your breath really changes who you are. And really importantly, if you're interested in the animal work, it changes your vibration. It changes your electrical current. It makes you peaceful enough that the animals will accept your touch. Probably the one single bit of feedback I have gotten the most over the years from people who got the book and tried to work with it versus coming to class is that little aha. Center yourself first. Reason being, who you be is more important than what you do. And you know, I mean, there's 75 of us on here. My math isn't good enough to do 75 times 36, but that's a lot of good breathing in the world. We're making the planet a better place. Kyle, you could figure that out. You could add that number of breaths and put it in the chat. I know you could. So now we're going to move on, and we're just going to play a little bit with some basics of how do you share this with your animals? Why would you want to? Well, the why would you want to, from my point of view at least, is because it changes the bond. They're dependent on us for their food. They're dependent on us for their walks or to let them out, shelter, dog bed, stuffed Kong. But that's, and it's valuable. All of that's important. But the reason I want animals in my life is because they are, for me, the strongest spiritual bonds I have. And when I share this effortless reality, I feel like I get to know them. I get to know their essence. I get to feel their energy in the pulses, in the textures. So not only can I respond to their needs more, but I can have a much deeper understanding of why they incarnated, who they are, what is their purpose on this planet. And for me, sharing Jinshin Jitsu has allowed all that to happen. So I'm going to see, we have this fancy arrangement for those of you who haven't been to class before. I learned that if I took the dog bed and I put it on the coffee table, and Robin Enos, who's on this call, helped me learn to position the computer and turn the angle. And now we can see Sleeping Beauty. Carmen is here with us. Above Carmen is the chart with the placement of the 26 safety energy locks and all of their meanings. And above that is a picture of Mary Burmeister holding a little boxer puppy, holding safety energy locks 13 and 25. In her writings, in her classes, she never talked about working on the animals, but I I think she left us hints all through the self-help books, and I think she left that picture to inspire me and 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 have me carry on. So we are up here in the dog bed with not only Carmen, but Uni the unicorn. And let's see if I come over there. You're all right, my boy. Everything is good. All right. I have this a little low, so I'll just bend over. I'm gonna move Uni. So obviously, it's a little easier to demo and share with these dogs who get Jinshin Jitsu on a daily basis. In the beginning, they were both rescues. They both came to me with some projects, but those things have basically evolved by now. And we do Jinshin on a daily basis, like cleaning house. So the first thing I do is I just pet and say good morning, say hello. And I make sure my hands are unneedy. As a loving pet owner, lots of times, if something's going on, our baby has diarrhea or is throwing up or is stiff, we can hardly help ourselves but want to fix them. Good idea. Not what this is. Go back to that idea I told you about. We're not doing anything. The sentence, if I were to get a tattoo, the sentence I would get tattooed across my forehead is, I want to be with this being in this gentle and loving art. Not an absolute rule, but the way I often start the work is center of the shoulder blade, right below that 3 that we held, and center of the breastbone. Safety Energy Lock 13. The reason I like to start here is because it talks about the exhale and the inhale, the giving, the letting go, down the front, which on them is down the belly, up the back, receiving. And for me, when I work with animals a fair bit, they get to know. For the most part, they just cannot pronounce Jinshin Jitsu. But when I start like this, they go, oh yeah, she's doing that thing. And they'll come and ask for it. I had a little guy, a temporary foster scooter. Yeah, well, I ended up having him 17 years. I guess it's still temporary, but he came to me with very, very bad heartworm and terrible cough from that. And his whole life, we got rid of the heartworms, but he still had the damage and he had the cough. When he'd start to cough, he'd come over, he'd take his nose, he'd hit my hands, and that meant he wanted me to hold this position, which would relax him and stop the cough. So if you look, there's a lot of things. If you're new to this, out on YouTube under the Jinshin Jitsu official, or under Jinshin Jitsu for Animals, you'll find some videos that talk more about this. But I just wanted to work through those same safety energy locks we held on ourselves and show you some little ahas to work with the animals. One of the reasons to do this is because they don't walk in and tell us like you would at a doctor's office, oh, I'm feeling this or that, whatever. One of the first places we see issues with the animals is skin surface. So all those safety energy locks we just held deal with helping skin surface. What I also love about it is that they establish profound security They let go of the attitudes of worry, anxiety, skittishness. They help the immune system. They balance the appetite. So I'm going to leave my hand here. I'm going to slide on. Once I put my hand on the body, to the best of my ability, I don't take my hands off. I'm going to keep going. I'm sliding inside the knee, right in here. I got to flip my hand over. There we go. I go flat hand, no pressure. So Carmen's paw is that big. It's smaller than my palm. So if I'm going flat hand, I know I'm going to be in the right place because I'm more than inclusive. I use Safety Energy Lock 1 for animals. For instance, I work a lot in rescues and animals who you want to allow them to move forward, to get over whatever it was, the trauma or the abandonment or the rough times that brought them to a refuge. And then my second hand is going here at the top of the pelvis girdle. I'm going to swap hands so you can see a little better. There. Oh, that's something to mention. Each hand does have an energetic pull. We say left to lead. However, if you get yourself in an uncomfortable position, the animal's going to feel it. They're going to know it straight away, and they're going to either move away or be resistant to the work. So if I'm trying to look at that camera and I have my hands like this, Carmen is getting, you can't tell it with her right this minute, but there's less harmony coming from my body than if I sit in a way where I can breathe. I can melt my shoulders and I can focus on the connection to this girl. If you don't have an animal with you right now, it's not a problem. You can hold these again on yourselves, or you can just soak it up. But if you do have them right there, I encourage you, reach out. If they're new to the work, they might only stay a moment or two. That's okay. That's where we begin. Hi. Hi, precious. So what am I doing when I'm holding these two safety energy locks? Well, again, first off, I'm being. But secondly, I'm putting I think of it as putting my hands in my ears in my hands. I'm using my hands to listen to this body. One of the things I love about this art, and it is an art and not a technique, it's that we're listening for the harmony. We're not diagnosing. I'm not looking for what's wrong with her and how I'm going to fix it. There's plenty of stuff in the world that does that. I'm looking at how magnificent this girl is and how I can celebrate that with my hands gently holding her safety energy locks. We are just coming up on Carmen's 2-year adoptiversary, or whatever that word would be. She came from a large hoarding case where she had been kept in a crate barely big enough for her to turn around in. She was starved. She was 10 pounds less than she is now. which was a quarter of her weight, and she had cancer in her mouth. She also has a hip injury that the vets have said they think it's from a blunt force injury, like she was walloped. Oh, and she had 6 different kinds of ear infections all at once. Boy, was she a stinky girl. Uh, and we've certainly had some wonderful vet care since then. But we've also had time together like this every day. And she just recently had a checkup. They were doing the 1-year check on the removal of the cancer. And it came back that she was as healthy as a girl could be. And she's certainly calm and happy these days. I tell you all that not because you need to know her history so much, but because as we're working, whatever the state of being they come to you as, focusing on the harmony just makes, that is the essence of the work. Jude or Kyle, there's somebody in the waiting room. So I'm going to leave my hand here on Safety Energy Lock 2. And the other hand is coming right up here now to the top of the shoulder blade. Safety Energy Lock 3. So I was on the 10 before. Now I'm on the 3. But the reality is my hand is holding both. Why not? One of my favorite teachers, Sarah Harper, talks about no lazy fingers. So here I am, the 3, warmth to all relationships. Well, I'm overflowing to the 10, receiving the abundance. What? You're going to receive too much abundance? I don't think so. Let your hands be happy and relaxed. As my hands listen, I start to feel a sensation of pulse, first under one hand and then under the other. And in a few minutes, they pulse together. That pulse is the universal life force. And when they pulse together, it is telling you that harmony has been restored. There's different textures to the pulse. The longer you hold, the more you'll feel those change. That's the lifelong study right there. And now from the 3, I'm coming up to right where the ears attach onto the skull. Safety Energy Lock 4. Sometimes I hold it like so, right over the ear. I call that my thunderstorm quickie. Safety Energy Lock 4, opening the window. Well, when the thunderstorm is going, I just close the window. Yeah. Oh, good girl. I'm listening. I see and feel deep exhales. I hear her stomach gurgling a little bit. Well, she's looking like she's actually let go of a fair amount of stress in her lifetime. But sometimes you'll see muscle twitches. You'll see their eyes soften. Sometimes you get a lot of gas. That's okay. That's still letting go. things to know after you've worked on your animals is that this is an art of letting go, which means A, make sure they have fresh water, and B, let them out. Because Jinshin Jitsu brings on a lot of peeing and pooping in the releasing for the animals. So that's just a little sampler. Those are 4 of our 26 best friends. Meeting these safety energy locks, knowing when to turn to them for help, categorically will change your life and that of your animals. So thank you, girl. I'm going to come back over here. If Rocco will let me sit down on the chair. Hi, precious boy. We may have to discuss this chair thing. So, okay. I wanted to take a few minutes and tell you about what's coming up next. And then we'll turn off the recording and we'll go into questions or comments and open it up and get to talk to everybody. So Kyle, who you met earlier, and Jude, and I, and Robin Enos, and Jen Morgan, and Lori Hood, we've all been working on a new project. It is going to be an online series of classes on the Teachable platform. This is all new to me, so if it sounds like a whole new deal, it is, but it's not scary. It's actually, I think it's kind of cool. What it means is that it will be a 5-week series with new videos and audio and PDFs and study guides coming to you every couple days. And then every other week, we will meet live in Zoom to answer questions, to do demonstrations, to make sure everybody's on the same page. But it affords me, as you can tell, I can talk. And it affords me the opportunity to go much deeper into the work. Basically, each 5-week series has about 3 times the information I was able to do before. And it gives it to you in different forms, so you get to comprehend it deep. Let me show you what I mean. The topic of this class is rescue animals and why they are the best Jinshin Jitsu teachers. Now, if you don't have a rescue animal, this does not say you shouldn't come to class. It's just that if I only work on guys quite as good as Carmen, I don't know if it sets you up to know how to work when you meet other animals. So we are working at Aliqua Animal Refuge, where I'm on staff, and we are working with an array of animals. Then we come home and we go through those flows in depth on my tribe. You got to know I had fun doing this. So then I went out and got felt. How do I make that go? Okay. In the colors of the depths. And then they get applied to the dogs as we work through the flows. So that question about where exactly do my hands go, you're going to get all the information you need about how do I work on a goat who's never been worked on. And then you're going to get, and now that he likes it, what specifically am I doing? Sue Sherman, who she's just a gift, and she has agreed to help develop PDF study guides. They will develop both, help you understand the safety energy locks and their jobs and the flows, as well as that those ahas that I've gotten over the last 30 years of working with rescue animals that I know, but I don't know to write them down theoretically. I know them when I'm working. And that's what those videos are going to help with, I think. And then Sue will make it concrete. Jen Morgan is the dog trainer at Aliqua. She's very open to the work, but she didn't know it. So we are having her expert input on the animals, what they're presenting, how to body read them. And then I'm teaching her or sharing what response using Jin Shin Jitsu will help harmonize that animal. So it's really in depth. I've never been able to work this deeply, even in an in-person class. We just don't have days and days and days. We don't have weeks to go back and see the progression of the animals. Yeah, imagine this. I'm high as a kite about it. Go figure. and that'll be coming up early April. Another thing that's interesting about Teachable is that once you join the class, you have that membership for the foreseeable future. You can go back and you will have, so say, okay, good. I adopted a dog. I brought him home. We worked through it. It's all working. Wait a minute. It's time for a cat. Oh, this is completely different. What do I do now? I know. I go back into the Teachable that I bought a year ago and I work through those steps, hopefully with the dog in the room so that they become bonded by the end of that work. So it's at your own pace. You can go back to it. You've got the philosophical, you've got the practical, and then we get to meet in person and hash out the gory details. So, and I'm making Kyle work like crazy, but it's kind of fun. Anyway.
It's very fun. I love it. It's great.
Jude, did I skip something about that? Am I leaving out anything? Okay. All right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop the recording and so I can send this out to everybody. Viewing world out there. I hope it's fun. Feel free to write to me if you have questions and stay tuned. In the next couple weeks, we'll be closing in on the details on getting this new class up and we'll get that to you ASAP. Then we'll go to gallery and it open it up for questions.